Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is another double up game done with JDP El Grillo. And in this game we're going to be taking another look at Ahri Reroll. I know that I previously did a game. I think the previous video I posted was with Ahri Reroll, but I've had the chance to play it a little bit more and do a bit better job of optimizing the build. I learned a number of things since I initially played the comp, so I wanted to go ahead and do another video with this because I think I just did a better job of building it in this game. So this will be Ahri better, faster, stronger. Anyway, as usual, we start out with our initial portal here. We were hoping for non-Scuttle Puddle, but everybody else went to the other option. And of course, we do get Scuttle Puddle again. That means it's going to be another high loot game. Lots and lots of items and gold and whatnot. This is always the case whenever you get Scuttle Puddle. Now, I do want to mention one other thing, which is that when I was playing this game, we were locally live streaming this on the Sula Discord, and Antisocial Monkey was watching the game with us, and he actually joined me for another game after this one. Usually we do these games in the evening North American time, and if we have like an odd number of us, we'll often like watch the other people playing and try to help out. This was noteworthy because Antisocial Monkey, as a number of you probably know, ASM is kind of the king of reroll. He always plays reroll comps in our local group, and he was able to give me some feedback on playing this board because this is the reroll comp he's been playing. He's just been playing quite a few ladder games. I think he's done, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 games of Ahri reroll, so he has a lot more practice with this. And he was able to give me some good tips throughout this game, so I wanted to give credit where it's due. At this point in time, I still didn't really know what I was going to play per se, but I did get the early Lilia and the early Poppy, and then I also got an early Tear, and those are some of the ingredients that are good for opting to play this build. And then I had two more Lilias, and then I also had a Zoe here, and I was like, I think I actually do have the pieces to play this board here. I think I have a reasonably good setup for it between the items and the champions that I've seen thus far. And I'm certainly not going to lack for Econ to roll for it. And then we also had another Lilia coming over from Grillo. So I'm already on 4 Lilias on 1-4. Don't have any Ahris yet, but still, this is not bad. And we're going to, of course, try to put the board together and see what we can hit throughout this game. Now I'm going to look to sell all the other 1 costs on my bench because I can get to 10 gold if I sell these units. Okay. So now we've got the option for our first augment. I'm looking at the different options here. There's a witch option here, but that's not really going to be that helpful for me. An XP granting augment's not going to be good. So I do have Heroic Grab Bag, which has the lesser champion duplicators. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. Obviously, by taking this, I do commit myself to playing a reroll board. But this is really helpful if you're playing this Ahri comp or really any 1-cost reroll comp, just because it is going to mean that I can get 2 copies of the champions for free. Of course, it is not a combat augment. It does not give you any in-combat benefit. But particularly if you're contested with someone else, this can allow you to get the last remaining copies of the units you need and hit your 3 stars before them, and make it so that your board just spikes quicker, faster, whatever term you want, than the other players that you're up against. I believe there is one other person that is looking to play this in this game. I believe, if I remember correctly, that someone has one of the champion augments that overlaps with this board, and I think someone else tries to play this comp, but I'll have to double check as we go through this game. Anyway, I'm up against a built different player here. That's what that augment is, and built different is always super strong at the start of the game. Like you are not going to beat a built different board if they have any clue what they're doing on like the first couple rounds of the game. And by the way, there we go. There's the 2-star Zoe. So it's like, okay, look to take that. I already have 2-star Lilia and 2-star Zoe. The only thing we're really missing right now is I don't have any Ahris, but Ahri will show up soon enough. Over on Grillo's board, he is playing through Frost Champions here. I believe he got the early Swain drop, and when that happened, he thought that he could play like a Frost opener. We did think about going for Warwick 3-star. We were actually considering going for it, but it turned out that looked like it was going to be contested, that someone else was apparently looking to try to grab additional Warwicks, and ultimately we just thought it wasn't worthwhile to go for a Warwick 3-star. Here we go. This person has Witchy Wallop. That is the Poppy hero augment. Now they're playing Poppy with all B units. They're playing Poppy with a bunch of Honeymancer units, and I do not understand that at all. if you're going to be taking the Poppy hero augment, you really want to play with other witchcraft units and with other bastion units, just because those are her traits. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to be playing Poppy, the Poppy carry augment with 3 other Honeymancer units. But anyway, that was what they're going for. So it means that it's going to be harder to hit the Poppies in this game because that person's going to be taking Poppies out of the pool. So that actually is going to influence a little bit of what I end up doing in this game. Now, I need another unit to play here on level 4. I am, of course, not leveling. Whenever you are playing a 1-cost reroll board, you do not... Well, by the way, another person just made 3-star Zoe. We were like, wait, what? 3-star Zoe? What the heck? How did that person just make 3-star Zoe? So, yeah, that person, Wiggly Whale, has a 3-star Zoe already. It was like, what? The good news is they are playing built different. I have no idea how they hit the 3-star Zoe that fast, but at least they're not rerolling for Ahri, so they won't be taking Ahris out of the pool, and there's a chance that they'll transition out of that Zoe later on. But yeah, it's going to make it a little bit tougher to hit the Zoes because that other player is going for the Poppies. They have the Poppy carry augment. That means that it's going to be hard to hit the Poppies. So if Zoe's contested and Poppy's contested, I was like, you know, I think I want to look to itemize Lilia instead as a result of that, which is not the typical unit you itemize on this board. You can itemize Lilia, it works fine, but Poppy is more frequently played as the main tank, just because her ability, I think her ability makes her a little bit tankier, and she can also take advantage of Fairy Trait if you ever... Oh no, she has Witch Trait, never mind, I'm getting confused here. I think it's because you activate Witch Trait right away, whereas you usually do not activate Fairy Trait until very late in the game or never. But in this game, we have the Tristana in there right now, so we actually do have a Fairy Trait in play. And I'm going to look to itemize Lilia instead of looking to itemize the Poppy, which, as I said, is backwards from how I did it in the previous game. All right, we have our carousel here. Now, you might have noticed I did not have any items committed. Oh, by the way, this is nice. Poppy 2-star, Trist 2-star. I mean, Trist is not even played on this board, but I'll run her for right now because I don't have anything else to play. But anyway, prior to that, I had not made any items on my board. And that was because I had like pieces of a whole bunch of different items, but I didn't have any of the items I actually wanted. For the champion, for the items that I wanted to put on Ahri, you really want to get like 1 source of AP and then 1 or 2 mana generating items. Interestingly enough, it has turned out that her best mana generating item is not blue buff and it's not Spear of Shojin. I mean, I would have just slammed Spear of Shojin, which I believe I did in, I think the previous game I put on YouTube. I think I put a Spear of Shojin on the Zoe. But it turns out that that is not actually best in slot for the Ahri. And it turns out that her best mana generating item is actually Adaptive Helm. This was surprising to me, but that the data has pretty clearly indicated that Adaptive Helm is her best mana generating item, which, as I said, was pretty surprising to me. But it actually does have some logic to it. And the main reason I was going to click the that Hui for Grillo, but I clicked it just a tiny bit too late. Instead, I'm going to end up sending him, I believe I end up sending him this Zillion. I had also picked up a Twitch for him, but I think the Hui would have been more useful. So it's a bit of a shame I didn't grab that. Anyway, though, to get back to my previous point, yeah, it turns out that Adaptive Helm is actually Ahri's best mana generating item. And the main reason for that is Ahri locks herself in place for a long time when she casts her ability. By the way, here I get a Zoe Sen coming over from Grillo. We didn't want to do the Lilia because he has 2 out of 3 Lilias. So we just ended up taking the Zoe instead. Yeah, when Ahri casts her orb, she locks herself in place for the duration of that orb. Like, she cannot auto attack while that orb is out on the field. And so because of that, the passive mana generation from Adaptive Helm is actually quite a bit better than Spear of Shojin, or just getting like the additional attack speed that's on blue buff. I believe blue buff and Spear of Shojin both have attack speed on them. So yeah, just the passive mana generation turns out to be a little bit better. So that's the direction I'm going. That's why I did not look to make blue buff off that carousel, and why I did not look to make the Spear of Shojin, which I had the items for from the start of the game. So I'm hoping I'll get a little bit more here. By the way, look at how much gold I have. This is the Scuttle Puddle in action. I'm actually going to roll here a little bit because I have just so much gold. I'm going to look here. Again, there's more Trist here. I was like, do I play Trist on this board? But then I was like, no, I don't. You know, the problem with this Ahri reroll composite's very specific about what units you play, and there's really no room for a Tristana on this board. It just doesn't fit. And there's another Trist. I'm like, oh my god, so many Tristanas. Where is this when I'm playing a board that actually uses Trist? There's a couple different ones that use her. There's a Blaster's base board. But there we go. Ahri's finally shown up. That's good. And now I can look to try to itemize in. Oh, double rods. That's fantastic. That's because the best offensive item on Ahri is definitely Death Cap. I mean, you can make like, and I'm just going to replace the Trist with the Ahri right away. Like you can go ahead and make like Jeweled Gauntlet, and it's certainly not bad, but Death Cap is definitely better. And I'll go ahead and continue rolling here. We'll go ahead and take the Trist out for right now. And there is actually a Hui here, so I should definitely pick that up for a potential send to Grillo. I can't remember if I did. Okay, I did pick that up. More Tristanas. What is with all these Trists? And I'll go ahead and roll down to 50 gold here. So again, on level 4, I'm less likely to see Ahri's, but I do have good odds to see the 1 costs here on level 4, so I probably should continue rolling at least down to 50. Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, I end up hitting Ahri2 really fast, so that's great news to hit Ahri2 that fast. I mean, this round doesn't go great. This is no, this isn't the built different player. This is someone who just happens to have a 2-star Katarina already. And Katarina Reroll has also popped up in popularity here. But now I have 2-star Ahri. That's definitely going to help a bit. And now I've got kind of the core of this build in place. 2 Bastion, 2 Scholar, 2 Witchcraft. I have the 4 initial units you want to play. And then I'd like to try to get Hecarim in for level 5. But I'll have to see if I can find that. Now, our second augment of the game turns out to be Prismatic. And I looked at the different options here. I could get a Radiant item. Like I could upgrade the Death Cap that Ahri already has to a Radiant Death Cap, which I don't think would be bad. Like, I think that would be possible, but I also saw this Impenetrable Bulwark, gain a Bramble Vest, a Dragon's Claw, a Giant Belt, and a Remover. It's definitely not Pandora's items. I'm happy with my items, but I was like, I think I'm going to take this because I think that I can fully itemize the Lilia. And by the way, Hecarim pops up exactly on time, so that's really nice. I was like, okay, well, Dragon's Claw and the Bramble Vest. These items are definitely not as good now in this patch as they were in some of the previous patches. I think I talked in one of the previous videos how Dragon's Claw and Bramble Vest are not great items, but I actually thought this fit my situation really well because I had pretty good items for Ahri, but what I was missing was I didn't have a lot of items in terms of frontline, and this just kind of gave me all the frontline that I could need for the time being. It also note that I'm now also on 8 Lilias. So I'm on 8 Lilias, and she does have quite good defensive items overall. Like she has a ton of armor and magic resistance. She doesn't have a lot of health, so that is missing. In fact, if I could ever get Fairy Trade in play, Fairy Trade gives some additional health. That would actually benefit her quite a lot. But these items are going to be pretty strong here. And you can see that with right now, the damage in the game is still relatively low. This is one of the things that characterizes TFT is as the game goes on, damage ramps up. Lilia's ability is a heal. So if you can't get through her healing, and right now it's really hard to do that because, as I said, damage is kind of low. If you can't get through her healing, then she can just kind of tank forever. So she's quite strong at this stage of the game. Now I'm going to roll here. And look, there's a Taric here as well. And Taric is the unit I play on level 6. So that's great. That's like awesome to hit the Taric. And I still have the 2 duplicators. Remember, I still have the duplicators. And then look at this. Gain a lesser champion duplicator for 5 gold. Yes, I will take that. I was like, I'm just going to duplicate the Lilia right now. Like, I've got a bonus duplicator here. Let's not overthink this. Let's just go ahead and duplicate the Lilia right this second. That's Lilia 3-star. And this should definitely be enough to win streak with. Now, my board is actually level 5 here. I'm up against a level 7 board. As I take a look over there at Grillo's board, he actually has a 2-star Zoe, so we actually have 8 Zoes between us. So I was like, definitely hold on to that Zoe. He's also getting close to Ahri 2-star, so I just have the 3 Ahris, but he has another 2 over there. So we're hoping that we can go ahead and use our send and help me make these units. And I have the extra Hui for him. But that was really good. I mean, I was a level 5 board. I just beat a level 7 board. I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen if Lilia is a 2-star unit. So getting that 1 extra champion duplicator really helped me. I still have double duplicators that I can look to use on Ahri. And I'd like to hit the Zoe because I'm so close. But the one unit I'm missing is Poppy, but Poppy's just going to be a trait bot in this game. I don't really need to hit the Poppy. So hopefully we can hit a few more Ahris, use the champion duplicators, get the 2-star Ahri and the 2-star Zoe to come over from Grillo, and look to continue onwards. Now, I have the chance to take a tier here, but remember what I said. The best mana-generating item on Ahri is actually Adaptive Helm. It is not blue buff. So I'm going to go ahead and look to do that. And thankfully, there were still double cloaks available there. So I was guaranteed to get a cloak no matter what. And I was even able to get it on a 2 gold Syndra instead of a 1 gold. Instead of what was the other unit? The 1 gold Ziggs. Now I get the 2-star Ahri coming over from Grillo. We also have our gift round here. And I believe he takes I think it's the component anvil is what he ends up taking here. I'm trying to remember from when we played this game. Okay, he is indeed going to take that. And so now I have the option to send a Swain or a Hui. And I believe Grillo still wants the Hui, so we'll take that. But I said I will hold the Swain in case that's helpful later on. All right, so now I've got a 2-star Ahri that just came over from Grillo. So now I'm on 6 Ahris, and I have the double champion duplicator. So technically, I only need to find 1 Ahri to have Ahri 3-star at this point. So this is coming along really nicely. I'm still not even level 6 yet. I'm still only level 5. I actually have better odds to hit the Ahri at level 6 as opposed to level 5. But I wanted to get one more Zoe, and yeah, I forgot to make the adaptive helm. ASM prompted me while we were watching this. He was like, you need to make the adaptive helm. This is a little bit sad because I actually think I win this fight if I make the adaptive helm at the start of the fight, because Ahri would have generated more mana. She would have killed the front line faster, and I think I actually would have kept win streaking if I had made that item right away. Just fiddling a little too much stuff with my board here. But yeah, as I said, because I have a 2-star Zoe send coming over from Grillo, what I want to do is I want to find one more Zoe. By the way, there's another Swain and another Hui. So I think I asked him, did he want me to hold Swains or did I want me to hold Huis? And you should definitely be doing that kind of communication with your partner when you're playing double up. And I think he still said he wanted I can't remember what he said he wanted. I guess I ended up holding the Swains in this game. So there's another Poppy. We can hold that. And we're getting close, but I'm out of bench space here, so I'm going to stop. As I said, I want one more Zoe because that means the Zoe send that Grillo can provide will get me the 3-star. And then I need one more Ahri, and then I can double duplicate the Ahri, and then we can just look to level and start playing more and better units. So this is always the case with reroll builds. You don't want to spend that much time rerolling. You kind of want to hit your key units and then get back to leveling as quickly as possible. Antisocial Monkey is really good at this. I remember so many games in past sets where he'd be doing like the Kale reroll, where Kale was the 1-cost unit, but you also wanted to get to level 9, and somehow he would hit the Kale 3-star quickly, and then all of a sudden he'd be like level 9 at the start of stage 5, and I'd be like, what? How did you hit the Kale 3-star and also get to level 9 so fast? But it's just kind of a balancing act. As usual. There is the built different player, and they have utterly bizarre items on their 3-star Zoe. They have like a Rage Blade and a Hand of Justice. It was like, does this person have any idea what they're doing? Maybe not. Could just be a newer player. Okay, there's the Ahri, so I'm gonna have to clear something. I'm gonna have to sell a Swain for that. That's nice hitting the 2-star Hecarim though. Hecarim's not a key unit in this build. He is mostly in there as a trait bot, but, you know, it doesn't hurt to have the 2-star Hecarim. He's not generally a unit you itemize as a tank because he doesn't really tank that well. He's a bit of an odd unit. He has some tank traits. He has Bastion trait, but he also has Arcana and Multi-Striker traits, and he's more of a, as I said, more of like an off-carry than really a tank overall. And by the way, look at all this disgusting amount of loot that we get here because we've got the Scuttle Puddle. All right, so I need to, as I said, I want to get the one more Zoe, and okay, there's the one more Zoe. So we definitely want to go to level 6. Now level 6 is the best time to roll for Ahri. I can just double duplicate the Ahri, so all right, we'll go ahead and do that. And that gets the Ahri 3, and now the only thing I need is that Zoe send from Grillo, which he can send the next time it's up. And yeah, now we have Taric in for 4 Bastion. I can now grab 2 additional items here. I'm looking at the different items, and I was like, definitely think that's the Ionic Spark. I'm kind of looking to take Frontline here. And then I get the chance to take one more item for Ahri as well. I thought about the Gargoyle Stone Plate, but Antisocial Monkey actually suggested, he was like, you know, Giant Slayer is actually pretty good on Ahri. And the other thing he said is like, you know, you do have double item removers. If you would end up getting another tier, you can make Adaptive Helm on Ahri. You can make a second Adaptive Helm on Ahri. But if you don't, you can just use the Giant Slayer. So I was like, okay, I think that makes sense. We'll just take the Giant Slayer here, put it on Ahri for now, and then we can always item remover it if we get the opportunity for a better unit, better item later on. And then I still have these additional items here that I need to make use of as well. Alrighty, so now it's time for our third and final augment. None of these look amazing for my setup. Blossoming Lotus would be decent if I had like a Jeweled Gauntlet, but I don't have a Jeweled Gauntlet, so Ahri's abilities can't crit, so that does not seem that useful. I don't think it's Row Rejuvenation. Portable Forge is bad late in the game. It's always stronger earlier in the game. So I'm just going to go ahead and opt to take Combat Caster, which I don't think is amazing. But some of my units do cast a lot, and it'll just give them some additional shielding. As I said, this is not great or anything, but I'll take it for right now. Again, the insane loot that you have with Scuttle Puddle. I still have the double item removers and a Reforger, plus the Arcana emblem over there. So anyway, this is the core of the Ahri reroll build. Is you're playing Lilia, Poppy, Zoe as your 1 cost, and then Ahri is the 2 cost. And ideally, you 3-star all of them. Poppy does not look like it's going to happen in this game, and that's because of this player. It's the witchy wallop player who is playing through the Poppy carry augment, Poppy hero augment, whatever. So because this person has taken so many Poppies out of the pool, it's really hard to hit, and there's no point in staying at low levels just to try to hit a Poppy 3-star. It's not that important to try to hit this unit, so I'm content now to start leveling and playing more units. And then Hecarim goes in on level 5 because Hecarim is another Bastion and also puts Arcana trait in play. By the way, I just beat 2 boards there, so Ahri did 10,000 damage, looking good so far. And then the Tark is the unit in on level 6 because he provides 4 Bastion. At this point, the build then starts to open up a little bit. And by the way, I am going to send this Swain here to Grillo because that'll make 2-star Swain, and he is one of the important frontliners over there on Grillo's board. As I said, once you get here to level 7, the build starts to open up a little bit more. And there, by the way, is the 2-star Zoe. So now I have 3-star Ahri, Lilia, and Zoe. As I said, Poppy probably not going to happen. Once you get here, though, the build does start to open up a little bit as I stuff Cassidy on the board for Portal Trait. You can kind of go one of 2 routes. You can play deeper into Arcana trait, and that's what I did in the previous Ahri game that I put up on YouTube. You can play deeper into Arcana trait. You can play Tahm Kench and play Xerath. By the way, these are not bad units to play. They definitely help, and they magnify the Arcana ability that Ahri is giving to the team. I have put the Arcana selector on Ahri, and what the Arcana selector does when you pick Ahri is the whole team gets additional ability power based on how many 3-star units you have. And I currently have 3 3-star units. I believe at Arcana 2, you get 10 flat AP, and then another 3 for each, or another 5 for each 3-star. So 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. I'm currently getting 25 AP for the whole team. If you play deeper into Arcana trait, you get more of that benefit. Alternatively, though, you can also play deeper into Scholar trait because Ahri is a Scholar. She is Arcana plus Scholar, and Zoe is also a Scholar as well. So you can also look to play 4 Scholars, and I think that that's probably the stronger version of the build, just because Tahm Kench is really not necessary in the build. Xerath is great to play, but Tahm doesn't really do much aside from give you a rank of Arcana. The 2 units that slot best in here are picking up Rise and then picking up Melio. Rise will give you Portal Trait. I'm getting Portal Trait right now, but that's because I have the terrible Kassadin on my board. And by the way, you see me going ahead and making that swap that I talked about before, the double Adaptive Helm on Ahri. And then in addition to that, if you can find Melio as well, that gets you 4 Scholar. And that picks up Fairy trait. So Melio is Fairy, and the Lilia is also a Fairy unit as well. So I think that they provide the better synergies. Ideally, I think you play Rise on level 7. I am playing Kassadin as Pretend Rise, and Kassadin's going to hold Rise items. He is not particularly well suited to Rise items, but better he use them than no one. So I'm going to be playing, ideally Rise would go in on 7, and then Melio would go in on 8, and then ideally you'd put Xerath in on 9 to cap the board. If you somehow get +1 team size or get to level 10, then you could look to play the Tahm Kench on 10, or if you have a Tactician's Crown or something. So I think that that's how the board caps out. And again, you obviously have to play around what units you hit. And in that other game, I was hitting the Xerath. The other game I put on YouTube, I hit the Xerath because I actually got it out of our portal that we had, our portal at the start of the game. We had one where we got a guaranteed 5 costs. So I kind of manipulated it so I had Xerath coming out. But I think that more commonly, you're more likely to play into 4 Scholar for your setup there. So far we've been doing really well. I'm on a 5-match win streak here. I would really like to win this round so I can keep that win streak going into the minion stage. And in particular, this is helping keep our health afloat because Grillo's board is not really amazing. He kind of has this Frost setup, but he didn't really get the stuff you want to play a Frost team. Ideally, if you want to play into Vertical Frost, you'd really would like to get +1 Frost because Frost 7 is way better than Frost 5. And if you don't have +1 Frost, you need to find Diana at the 5-cost tier, which makes that pretty tricky. But he did not manage to get that, and so he's looking to transition out of Vertical Frost into something that plays a bit more horizontally into other traits, but he's kind of in the middle of transitioning right now, and the board is like not quite where it wants to be. By the way, look at that other board right there. They're rerolling for Nunu, Cog, Rumble over there, but it doesn't seem to be going that well at the moment. In any case, though, I was able to win that round, and the good news is I was able to keep that win streak going all the way through stage 4. That is where this build should be at its strongest, because it was right after I had hit the Ahri 3-star. Like, when you hit Ahri, Lilia, Zoe 3-star, that's when the board is kind of at its strongest, and then it can fall off a little bit in the late game. By the way, that person has the Galio hero augment, so a lot of 2 costs coming out of the pool. Fortunately, no one else ended up playing the Ahri. I mean, I was contested on the Poppies, I was contested on the Zoes, but no one was actually playing Ahri, who's the most important unit in the team composition, so that was certainly nice. This overall setup was nerfed, and by the look of this, gain a copy of each one cost champion. I was like, okay, I will take that, because it will give me another Poppy here. I mean, we might as well keep grabbing Poppies. It doesn't really cost much of anything. As I continue to get all of these 1-cost units, and I have to keep selling them. There we go. There's the Poppy. That's the only one I actually care about. But that does get me to 6 Poppies, so that's something. I also need to put another unit on the board, so I'll stuff this Bard on the board. Bard is a Scholar, so now if I can find Rise, I will have 4 Scholars in. And I'll take that. I'm still just playing the Cast-In for the moment for Portal trait. And I also have a whole bunch of items I need to try to do something with. So I was trying to think about what I could do with these. I was like, all right, I have double swords. Well, there's not a ton I want to do with swords, but I can always try to do Spear of Shojin. That's a pretty good item on Rise. And it would also be great on like a future Xerath if I could ever find Xerath. Remember, I still have an item remover, so I could always move items around to some extent. This round I'm up against a Callista, and unfortunately my Ahri decides that she's going to spend the whole fight not attacking the Callista. So unfortunately I do lose that one, and my big win streak comes to a close, which is disappointing. Mostly though, I just need to roll here and try to hit at least 1 Rise. I believe Grillo was also trying to grab Rises for me. I think I asked him if he wanted... It might look like Callista's good on this board because Callista makes multi-striker, but remember, that's with the stupid Cassidon on my board, who I'm not going to be playing long-term. I'm going to take the Minor Wish just so I can use up a charm. I end up getting a bunch of little training dummies for that. So we're still trying to find Rise here on the board. Or Melio, that would also be great, but I'm more likely to find Rise. So it doesn't look like I hit him on this particular round. So the Cassidon stays on the board for 1 more round. Again, I would rather play Melio Bard, but it's hard to find Melio. Or Melio plus... I'm going to make Steadfast Heart here for the Tark as well. That's another good frontline item. I would prefer to play the Rise plus the Melio, but if I can't find them, then Bard can sub in for one of them, because he is also a Scholar unit, even though he's not quite as good as either of them. He's a bit more of a support unit, whereas they are both more in the way... Well, I guess Melio is also a support unit, but... Rise is definitely more of a carry unit. Anyway, we're going to win against this board. That was the Witchy Wallop Poppy player. So more Poppies will go back into the pool now, although I am level 8, so I'm not going to see a lot of Poppies. Anyway, there is Rise. There's also Tom Kench. So we'll go ahead and take that. I also really probably should have taken the next champ you buy this round is free. Probably should have grabbed that first. And now we'll look to start itemizing Rise. So we can pull something here. And we have the option to pull a tier for Spear of Shojin. That's quite nice. And now I've got the 4 Scholar in, and I will hold the Tom because I can look to play the Tom on level 9. So I can also do this, and I think that this is a little bit better. I don't really need to play the Bard per se. I also need to buy something, so I end up buying the Nora and then immediately selling the Nora because neither one of us actually want to play Nora. So that charm just gave me 5 gold, basically. I think it cost 1 gold, and then I sold for 5, so it was literally just like plus 4 gold. Obviously, I did pass up the chance to get a combat-related charm, so I did not have that for this game, for this particular round, excuse me. But I'm just trying to get to level 9, and it turns out I beat the Galio hero augment board anyway. Yeah, the Ahri is actually quite strong. Now we've got the 4 Bastion frontline, we have 3 Arcana, so at 3 Arcana, I believe it's 15 flat AP and then 8 per 3 stars, so I think we're getting 31 AP or something like that. something like that. I think I'm doing the math wrong on this. I think we're getting about 35 AP team-wide, something like that. Now I have the chance to get another item, and guess what? There's a Xerath here. Well, I would much rather play Xerath than Tom Kench. As I said, Tom Kench doesn't really do much for my board. He's just in there as a trait bot, but Xerath is like legitimately quite useful for my setup here. Because I can turn him into like another carry in the back row. And remember, I have this Spiro Shojin, so I could always move that over to him if I want to. Anyway, I'm also going to get a rise here from Grillo. He had one on his bench, so that gets me to 2 out of 3 rises. And now I'm looking over there. I would really like to try to get him another Hui, because I believe he's on 7 Huis. And there is actually a Hui in my store. This is some nice timing here. So I was like, do you just want another Hui for your board? Because he is on 7 out of 8. And I believe he said he did just want the Hui, from what I remember. Do I get that off before this round starts? I thought that I picked this up for him, because I do have the champion send back. But I guess maybe that takes another round. I also did get the Quicksilver Sash. Now, I could reforge the Quicksilver Sash, but I was like, Quicksilver, it's not really the item I want here, but, it does give attack speed. I actually think it's reasonably decent on Rise. Like, it's definitely not one of his better items, and there's the chance I could just reforge it into something utterly useless. So I was like, I think I'll just keep this item rather than roll the dice and hope that I get something that's good, which could also end up not being great at all. By the way, look at the items Zoe rolled on her Thieves Club. She rolled Blue Buff plus... what is that? Gunblade. Those are like just about the best possible items she could roll. Probably Blue Buff Death Cap is the best, but that's certainly not far off. Okay, there we go. So I was late in getting the Hui, but I do have that, and I believe that he was also playing Rakan as well. So we also get up to 7 poppies here. So I think I asked if he wanted the Rakan or if he wanted the Hui here. All right, so it's another champion gift round, and I can pull an item. So I was like, okay, this game is the Adaptive Helm game. We're going to go ahead and just put that on the Xerath because it's another mana-generating item, and I just want Xerath to cast more than anything else. So anyway, now I'm trying to see what to send, and he said he wanted the Rakan, so I'm going to end up sending the Rakan. And then I'm going to look to, do I level here? I think I waited until after the minion round, and then I've got the 2-star Bard ready to go on my board. So I still have a leftover sword here. This is not useful. So I'm actually going to use my Reforger. And, it turned into a rod. That's way more useful. We'll just stuff this on Xerath for right now. And if I get 2 more items for Xerath, well, I still have that item remover. So I can always pop this off Xerath if I need to. Like if I would get, I don't know, like a Spiro Shojin Death Cap or something, I can still put that on them. Anyway, this is the Built Different board. We lost to this last time. Can we beat it this time? No. Looks like we're going to come up a little short. They have a 2-star, what is that? 2-star Smolder over there with Built Different. That's pretty strong. At least that team's down to 1 HP now. All right. So I do end up losing that round. I was pretty strong throughout stage 5. Both of my losses were very close losses. And I think my board can actually still get quite a bit stronger. I'm about to go 9 here, and I will put in the Bard for 4 Scholar. And then hopefully on level 9, I'll have pretty good odds to try to find some of the remaining units I'm missing. I need 1 more Taric for Taric 2-star. Taric's fully itemized. I need 1 more Rise for Rise 2-star. He's also fully itemized. And then, like I said, I'm going to put a 2-star Bard on the board, and then I have decent odds to find the 5 cost. Like, I really would like to find Melio, and I'd like to find more Xeraths as well. So, as I said, I think I can definitely keep getting stronger. All right, so let's go ahead and level here. And, Spiro Shojin. I will take that for the Xerath. I just want him to cast, and then I can pull an item here. And I was like, I don't really need more frontline. Everything here is frontline except for Morello's. So we'll take the Morello's. Let's do it. Xerath is not the world's greatest user of Morello's, but he does apply it reasonably well. He hits most of the board. There's Melio. So that's the unit I want. Now we get Fairy Trait very belatedly in for Lilia. I guess I had it in earlier. And then I'm going to take that charm that lets me reroll the shop with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cost. And the 5 cost is Melio. So that's great. Now I have a Rise pair, I have a Taric pair, and I have a Melio pair here. So if I can just hit some of these units, my board's going to spike really, really hard. I also have Xerath now fully itemized, and Melio's going to toss out items to the rest of the board as well. So yeah, we're going to win that round. And that's a board that I just kind of outscaled. That was the Kog'Maw, Tristana, Nunu reroll board. That board's really strong in the mid game, but it tends to get outscaled in the late game. And my board, now that it has all these 4 and 5 cost units, is definitely outscaling that one a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and roll. And that was Easy enough. I hit the 2-star Emilio, and look at this, gain a copy of every 2-star champion. So I get a copy of every 2-star champ. Now I just have to sell them. There is one other thing going on in this game. One of the teams was trying to make 3-star Fiora. They were actually on 8 Fioras, and I did not spot this while playing, but Grillo did. He was doing a great job of watching the other teams. So Grillo has grabbed a Fiora, and then I am guaranteed to get another Fiora here. So I'm going to hold this, and we're just going to make sure they can't hit 3-star Fiora. That's because Grillo has 1 copy. I have 1 copy. They have 8 copies, and there's only 10 copies of the 4 cost. So that's 8 plus 1 plus 1. That's 10. Every copy of Fiora is out of the pool, so they cannot hit Fiora 3-star unless they get a champion duplicator. That's the only way that this could happen. So that was really handy in the sense that it allowed us to grab that last Fiora, and it also allowed me to hit 2-star Rise and 2-star Taric. So I kind of hit all of my 2-stars now, except Xerath. I'm just missing the Xerath. Alrighty, so we actually are down to just one other team remaining in the lobby. So I was actually thinking of going to level 10 and then putting the Tom Kench on the board, which would cap out my board. But the thing is, that team's on 1 HP, and if we win another round, the game is over. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna roll try for a strong charm. I just want a charm that's gonna make me strong here. So let's roll it down. And oh, Xerath gains 20% damage amp. The whole team gains 10%. I was like, that sounds pretty good. 10% damage amp for the whole team and 20% for Xerath. That is a very strong charm. It is one of the Xerath only charms. And I am back to playing the Kog'Maw, Tristana, Nunu reroll board. And as I said, I have just outscaled this board. I beat it before, and that was before I hit some of these 2-star units. But it's not especially close right now. My board tears right through that one. Still have about half the team alive. And then we're going to come over here and beat their partner as well. So GG, a really well-played game, I think. Again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back too much, but I do think this was a good one. I was really happy with how this team came together. Some really good advice from Antisocial Monkey while I was playing it, but focused early on hitting the 3-star Lilia, and then she had all my tank items. She was a brick wall for most of the game. Hit the 2-star Ahri, hit the 2-star Zoe with some awesome sends coming over from Grillo. He sent me the 2-star Zoe, the 2-star Ahri. That plus the champion duplicators allowed me to hit. And then we're just able to level and start putting in better units. I got the Taric in. I was able to get the 2-star Rise. I was able to get the 2-star Taric. And then I was actually even able to get 2-star Emilio to help cap out the board. So this is about what the end game should look like with this. If you can put this team together, you're in a very, very strong position. Ahri even got nerfed in a little B patch this past week, and it didn't even matter. She's still super strong. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, take care, folks, and I will see you again soon.